Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing the 12th problem in the LeetCode 75 series today. This problem is under the 2 pointers category. It's called container with most water, and it's ranked as the medium difficulty. So yeah, let's get to it. So we're given the instructions. You are given an integer array height of length n. There are n vertical lines drawn such that the two endpoints of the ith line are I0 and I height of I. Find two lines that together with the x-axis form a container such that the container contains the most water. Return the maximum amount of water a container can store. Notice that you cannot slant the container. And then it gives us an example. So this is a pretty straightforward problem, especially because we're given this visual right here. And so basically, in order to calculate like units of water, we have to determine the height and then the distance between the two, right? So it wouldn't be, when I first looked at this problem, I thought, oh, why wouldn't it be between this one? It's the size of 8, it's a little bit taller. But it actually turns out, since this is wider right here, even though it's 1 unit shorter, it stores more units of water. So basically, it's in the 2 pointers category because with this approach, we're going to be using 2 pointers in order to basically look at the left and the right sides of the integer array, and then see which one is tallest, and we'll keep basically using conditional statements to compare those. So let's go ahead and dive right into the solution. So like I said, we're going to need something to compare the water units with. So we're going to declare an integer and initialize it to 0. So we're going to call that max water units, and that's going to be 0. And then since this is a 2 pointers approach, we're going to need to establish our 2 pointers. So for that, we can just call those left and right. And left is, of course, going to start at 0. And then right is just going to be at the end. So since it's a 0 indexed array, all we have to do is height dot length and then -1. Okay, and then the easiest way to do this would be to set up a while loop. So these are pretty straightforward. So like I said, we're kind of traversing through the integer array. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at left and go to right. So while left is less than right. All right, and then basically, in order to calculate the water units, we're going to want to have a height and a width. So in order to get our height, we can just call that, yeah, let's just call that height. It's going to be the minimum of either the left or the right size, because if we do, say we were to put the water at 8, it would overflow. So it needs to be 7, right, when we're calculating the water units. So Java has a built-in shortcut for this, basically. It's out of the math library. So we do math.min, and then we pass in either the height of the left or the height of the right. And then basically height is assigned the minimum value, which is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and do the width. So for the width, it's just going to be right minus left because we're just getting that difference. Okay. All right. So then max water units is going to be calculated by basically doing the maximum of either the existing max water units or the height times the width, right? Because we're calculating the area basically. So for those of you who took elementary math, you'll know that you can get that by by multiplying the height and the width. So it's just kind of like the minimum thing that we just did. We just do math max, and then we put max water units, and we compare that with height times width. Okay. And then now this is where we use our conditional statements in order to compare the left and the right sides to see which is going to have basically the maximum amount of water. So in order to do that, we just set up a simple if statement. height left is less than height at right, then we want to increase the left side. Okay? And then else, we want to decrease the right side. So we're basically just increasing it or decreasing it based on the size, based on the height, right? And then after we break out of that loop, we want to return the max water units. Oops, it's not capitalized. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and try to run this. Height is already defined. What did I do wrong here? Oh, our input variable is called height. So let's call this something different. Why, for simplicity, why don't we just call this h? Oops, we still want that to be height though. And then call this h. And if we're going to call that h, we might as well call width w. Make this more simple. All right, so cool. There we go. We passed our test cases, so let's go ahead and submit it. See how we compare to the other cases. All right, so it beats 81.6%, which is pretty good, as you can see. So in terms of time complexity and space complexity, the time complexity is big O of n because it basically just traverses once at maximum twice through the input array, so which is going to be size of n. And then for the space complexity, it's just going to be constant space complexity big O of 1 because we're not using any extra data structures that are scaling in size with according to the input. We just have these constantly sized integers, so that's not going to affect our space complexity. Anyways, I hope that this video helps you with improving your two-pointers technique skills. And this is something that's commonly brought up in interviews. So you're going to want to know how to use the two-pointers technique and be able to implement that during a coding interview. So it's important that you practice. And this playlist is perfect because I think there's 4 different problems that you can practice this technique on. And there's a whole lot of problems on LeetCode to do more practice if you feel that that's necessary. But anyways, if you found that this video was helpful for you, please go ahead and like it and subscribe to my channel for more content. We're going to be doing every single problem in this playlist. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos, please go ahead and leave those in the comments as well. I'm a new channel, so I'm open to making any kind of content related to computer science. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.